Hello, it is 12 o'clock Central, which means it's time to start today's live stream. Super excited. Today we have a really cool guest. Liam Carnahan is going to be joining us. He's an SEO freelance coach. He does, in addition to doing content and SEO work, he also helps train and educate, creates a bunch of content and free resources to help other people level up their content marketing, content writing, and SEO skills. And so today we're going to be talking about building and selling SEO services. And so I'm really excited to kind of dig into a little bit more of the business side of the work that we all do, and how you can make more money, find better clients, all of that good stuff. So we're going to be kicking off here in just a moment with Liam. Before we do that, I have a couple quick requests for everyone on our stream today. First of all, if you have not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel here. We host regular workshops and Q&As with super smart people on all kinds of topics related to content marketing, SEO, freelancing, building and growing your content business, agency, etc. So yeah, definitely hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you stay updated on all of our upcoming workshops. I think next week we've got Joel Kletke. He's going to be hosting a workshop on writing case studies that convert. So really excited for that one as well. Secondly, on this specific video, if you can, like this video to help other people find it. That's super helpful. We all know we're playing the algorithm game, so trying to send as many positive signals as possible. And so yeah, liking this video will help other folks find us and help us continue to grow our audience. Last request is, if you are not already a member of Top of the Funnel, this is our free Slack community. Liam is a member and is constantly dropping amazing content inside Slack, all about again, running and building and growing your freelance business, doing content and SEO work for clients and those types of things. But we're closing in actually on 2,000 members inside Top of the Funnel. It's a free Slack community focused on kind of all things content marketing and SEO, mixture of freelancers and in-house folks, as well as agency owners, and just a lot of great conversations, networking, work opportunities, additional free content. And it's the first place where we promote all of our upcoming workshops and Q&As and stuff. So just a lot of stuff going on inside there. And I think it'll be super valuable. If you enjoyed today's presentation, again, please join by going to yesoptimist.com/tofu. Okay, advertisements out of the way. Let me swing back here. So as I said, our guest today, or our host today, is Liam. And Liam is going to be teaching us how to sell SEO services.
Hey, Tyler.
Liam, hello.
Hi. So good to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining. And again, thank you, as I've hopefully expressed in the past, thank you so much for all of the content that you've already shared inside Top of the Funnel, just helping people learn from your experience in building and growing their business and their freelance work.
My pleasure. Honestly, no one else in my personal life will listen to me talk about it anymore. So it's nice to have an outlet to share this stuff.
It is funny how it feels like such a weirdo job when you're not on the internet and you're telling people that you do SEO or content marketing.
Yeah, a lot of people think, my dad thinks I work at Google still, so it's much easier to share this kind of stuff with people who kind of get it.
I love it. Awesome. Well, I'm super excited to hear what you have to share with us today. Real quick before we kick off, I just want to mention we will try to have some time at the end for Q&A. So if you have questions for Liam as he's sharing with us today, please pop those into the chat. And actually, to get us started, if you are watching now, why don't you just say hello in the chat so we know who's here? That'd be great. All right, Liam. With that, I'll let you go ahead and take it away from there.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tyler. So hello, everyone. My name is Liam Carnahan, as Tyler said. And I'm going to start by giving a little bit more of a background. Some of you might know about me already from the Tofu channel. Like Tyler said, I post in there every other Wednesday. But just to give you a little more information about who I am and why I'm talking about this subject today. So I have a background as a writer. I have a degree in writing and literature and publishing from Emerson College in Boston, if anybody knows that school. And I got my first job in content marketing in 2008, kind of by accident. I actually, way back then, it was kind of the early days in the wild west of SEO and content. I didn't really know what content marketing was or what SEO was. I just wanted to get paid to write. I ended up getting this job in Boston at a little agency. At the time, I think I was their fourth employee. They're now 300 plus, one of the biggest content agencies in the world. And getting in there, I was able to kind of get on the ground floor of what was going on in SEO and content, ended up really liking it and enjoying it. And for the next 10 or 12 years, please don't do the math on how old I am, I was able to continue on and kind of rose up the ranks there. That job eventually sent me to Sydney, Australia, where I worked at another agency, became the director of content in that agency. And then in 2018, that very end of 2018 and beginning of 2019, I decided I wanted to begin a career as a freelancer. I was tired of being chained to a desk. I love traveling, and I just wanted a little more control over my work. So I decided to take everything that I've learned over the last 10 or 15 years and start out as a freelancer. It really scared me to do that. I was pretty certain I was going to fail. But I didn't fail. I fortunately had learned a lot over the last 10 years and was able to earn over 100,000 in my first year as a freelancer, and it's gone up since then. And now I live as a digital nomad, so I don't have a home. I just travel all the time. It's kind of my dream. And I've now transitioned my business again just in the last year to start training other people how to do what I do. So I'm not trying to brag by saying how much I make or how successful I was. What I'm trying to tell you is that being an SEO freelancer, there's a lot of demand for people like us in the industry, and there's a lot of money to be made as an SEO freelancer. But it has to be done kind of in the right way. And lucky for you, I spent some time striking out over the last few years to figure out what does and does not work in this industry if you really want to be a high earning freelancer in SEO. So that's really what I want to talk about today is what can you do to become an SEO freelance specialist and actually make decent money off it. So I'm not going to be talking about putting yourself on Fiverr or Upwork or anything like that. That's an okay way to start. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not really where the money is. I want to talk to you about the strategies and things you can do basically to be a high earning SEO freelancer. So that's what we're going to go into today. And if you have any questions along the way, just let me know. So let's start out with some of the basic questions. What do SEO freelancers actually do? I'm first going to tell you in one sentence. So this is kind of my elevator pitch when somebody asks me what I do for a living. SEO freelancers help businesses grow their online traffic and attract new customers through the power of SEO and content marketing. I always group SEO and content marketing together. If you know enough about SEO, you know that it really requires a lot of content creation. So you really can't have SEO without content. You can't have content without SEO. There's plenty of types of content that don't really involve SEO. But for me, I like SEO. There's a lot of people who need SEO help. And it really ties in really nicely for freelance writers or people who enjoy working with words. Though you can always, focus on the parts of SEO that don't actually require you to write if you're not a writer yourself. But that's pretty vague. That's just one sentence. It doesn't really tell you what SEO freelancers do. So let's break it down a further step and talk about the services that SEO freelancers offer. So these are the 6 services that, people probably have different terminology. There might be some people out there who don't count some of these or have other ones that they do count. But if you're talking to me and if you're talking to most freelancers, these are the 6 different services that freelancers who work in SEO can offer. So we have SEO auditing, keyword research, content strategy, SEO content creation, backlink growth, and SEO consultation. And I'll be honest, this is like a huge Venn diagram. All of these things overlap with each other. They are all a piece of the same puzzle. And so I want to go into what each of them does. So if you are going to become an SEO freelancer, you do not need to offer all of these. I don't offer all of these services. But this is just, think about these. If you want to start this as a business, these are the services that you can offer that will actually make you a decent income. So let's start with SEO auditing. This is basically the process of analyzing a website and trying to figure out what's going on that website that might prevent SEO success. So this does require a lot of knowledge of how websites work, how the Google algorithm works. You need to know about site speed. You need to be comfortable with Google Analytics and Google Search Console. You need to know a lot of things about user experience. That's why I put the nerd thing there. It's kind of like the nerdiest, most technical part of it, and I mean that as a compliment. I wear glasses. I'm a total nerd myself. Um, I call this the gateway drug because a lot of businesses, when they're starting out looking for SEO, the pathway they often take is that they'll do a little bit of research and then they'll realize that there's all this stuff that they haven't done to their website. They've never thought about SEO. They did not talk about SEO when they built their website. Their developer maybe doesn't know anything about SEO. So the very first thing they have to do is get an audit to make sure all of those roadblocks are out of the way. And so I like offering this one because it's a really good way to get your foot in the door. A lot of people are looking for this at the early stages, and it's really easy to turn this into a long-term relationship because once you get all of those technical issues cleared away, then they're ready for the more advanced SEO stuff. Pricing with this, I'm going to be talking a lot about pricing today. It's just something I've noticed in my coaching and my mentorship with people who want to be SEO freelancers. They're always asking me, how much do I charge? How much can I actually make? And I hate saying this, but it's like the catchphrase of SEO is it depends all the time. Everything depends. And I'm going to talk more about how to decide what to charge and how. But with SEO auditing, I've charged everywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. And that really just depends on the complexity and the size of a website. The more complex a website is, the more pages there are to analyze. The older a website is, the more likely it is to have problems. And obviously the price goes up. So whenever someone is asking me about SEO audits, I don't actually have any prices on my website. If you check out my website, you won't see a single number anywhere except for on my coaching page. For my businesses, my business clients, I don't actually ever tell them the price up front because I have questions. I need to know how big the website is. I need to know how old it is. What's the history? Have they done any SEO before? And that allows me to choose from that very large margin of 1,000 to 10,000. 1,000 would be for like a very small website that maybe has a blog and not much else going on it. And 10,000 would be for like an enterprise website or very large website that has, hundreds or thousands of pages. Next up is keyword research. This is something you've probably heard of if you do SEO or if you've researched SEO at all. And I want to be clear that keyword research is a vital part. If you're an SEO writer, let's say, and you're writing blogs, you probably do keyword research before you write a blog. Maybe the company gives you a keyword to focus on, or maybe not. And if they don't, you go and you research that. You maybe use a few tools to find out what keywords you might want to offer for that blog. That's great. Definitely do that. But that's not what I'm talking about when I talk about offering keyword research as a service. In order to actually make money off of this as its own service, you need to do bulk keyword research. And that basically means interviewing the client to learn as much as you can about their audience, maybe doing some audience research as well yourself, and then giving them a huge list of all of the possible keywords that they should target and prioritizing that list with the top opportunities. So when I deliver keyword research in bulk, I'm usually delivering anywhere from 500 to thousands of keywords for these people to suggest. And because of that, it is quite a tedious process. I enjoy it because I always think of doing keyword research. It's kind of like peeking in the minds of people. You get to learn what people are searching for and how they're phrasing things. And that speaks to the word nerd in me. But it is time consuming. And I'll get to this a little bit later, but I've developed some strategies that actually can make it quite a bit faster. You will need to have probably the more expensive tools for this. So you have Ahrefs and SEMrush are the two big keyword research tools. There are some other ones out there that are more affordable or free, but they're just not as efficient for doing this kind of keyword research. However, if you do one or two of these projects, it pays for your entire year-long subscription. So it is worth it. And if you're really going to get serious about SEO, it's something that you kind of need to learn how to use these big tools. And as I said here, this is often delivered as part of a content strategy. So when I do a content strategy, which I'm going to get to in a second, keyword research is usually a big part of that. And this can yield anywhere between $2,000 for a small project if it's just one topic to anywhere up to 5,000 or more if it's going to be multiple topics, multiple audiences that I need to research. Up next, we have content strategy. This is my personal favorite. This is building a long-term, in-depth plan for creating content and obviously putting a lot of SEO suggestions within that plan. Though not necessarily everything in a content strategy is going to be about SEO. You might suggest ideas for email marketing or social media or more salesy content or landing pages, but it fits in nicely with SEO because SEO is basically a prescription of here's the content that you should be writing, and therefore it lends itself quite well to a content strategy. I'm not talking about a content calendar here. That's very different. That's just content ideation, or content calendar, just a list of ideas. That's part of this, but a content strategy will also look at things like audience. It will look at competitors. It will look at the current website, the state of the website as it is now. It will involve that keyword research I said. And that's why this is the most lucrative, because it does take some time. Usually it takes me at this stage in my career about a week, 2 weeks to do a full content strategy and get it ready for presentation. And then obviously the presentation and getting it designed and delivering it adds even more time on it. But that being said, you stand to make a lot of money off of this. At minimum, mine are around $6,000. That's about the baseline price for these. And if it's a bigger website or if I'm doing multiple audiences, it can really go up from there. As I said, I think the maximum I've ever done is 20,000. That's a pretty good price. And obviously it takes longer to do those bigger, more in-depth content strategies. SEO content creation. This is probably the most common one, and I'm guessing there's probably a few people in this group who are already doing this service. This is just creating strong, search-friendly content, usually long form. Those just long form blogs perform the best with SEO. That's something that we know about the industry, so a lot of it is blogging. But you also might be doing things like taking old content that's not ranking for keywords and trying to get it to rank for keywords by rewriting it and updating it. And you might maybe say, I'm going to optimize every page on your website, rewrite your landing pages to get some keywords in there and update the metadata and all of that. So this is probably, if you are a freelance writer right now and you're not offering SEO, or you're doing SEO for free as part of your job, and by that I mean optimizing your content for search, adding metadata, adding keywords, doing the keyword research per article. Either you should learn how to do those things because you can really raise your rates once you're able to offer that and show some evidence that you know how to do that. And if you're doing that kind of stuff for free and haven't raised your rates to accommodate that, that you're missing out on money right now. And nobody likes that. So you should definitely charge more. It's just a really easy way for freelancers to upskill. You will need to know the SEO fundamentals, and I'm going to show you how to learn those in a few minutes here. But this is a really highly sought after service. It's probably the #1 thing that people request. A lot of times people request this service way before they're ready for it. They haven't done a tech audit yet. They haven't done any keyword research yet, but they're going to come to you with this one first. Maybe you can prove your worth with an article or two and then talk to them about other services. And again, this one is, I now charge about $300 for 500 words. I probably could charge more. I just don't. This is me scolding myself for not raising my rates, but that's much, much higher than a lot of freelance writers who just charge, much smaller rate or hourly rates. So if you are a freelance writer, if you enjoy writing, highly recommend you upskill yourself in SEO because it just instantly adds value to what you're doing. And it makes it really easy to prove that what you're doing actually has worth. You can show people how many visitors came to the website through your blog, or how many times your blog was shared, all through the power of SEO. I forgot to change the title of this slide, but it should say backlinks there. That's my error. Anyway, this is backlink research, not SEO content creation, so ignore that headline there. But essentially, backlinks are when another website links to one website. So they're really good for websites SEO. If you have a website out there, getting other websites to link to your website is going to improve the value of your website, and therefore just make your whole job as an SEO specialist easier, because you'll be able to rank more often, you'll be able to outrank others, and really backlinks are the only way to get there. I don't offer this as a service. I have tried in the past. It is really time consuming. It does require you to have a bit of a network. You have to be able to say, I know these websites where you could get published. You have to do a lot of pitching, a lot of reaching out. It is really tricky. And it unfortunately has a little bit of a bad rap. If you're on LinkedIn, you probably I certainly get them every day, people asking me if I want to buy a link to so they can link to my website. And it's really spammy to do that. It's really a bad practice. Not all the time. There are agencies that do it in a really legitimate way. There are freelancers that do it in a legitimate way. But there's a lot of freelancers out there who are just really spamming people. And so it leaves a very nasty taste in a lot of people's mouths. It's just time consuming. I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just not for me, but it is one of the services that would fall under the umbrella of SEO. And then finally, the last one is SEO Consultation. This is just being the person who comes in and provides advice for how to proceed with SEO. It often ties into a content strategy. It can look like training. So often I will go into a business either virtually or in person now that the pandemic has kind of calmed down, and train people how to do SEO, or just be someone who's on a retainer. I have a few clients who I just tell them, you have this amount of time every month that you can ask me questions, or we can do training, and or they'll pay a big amount up front for big training. I also train smaller businesses how to do this kind of stuff so that they can do it on their own. And this can be very, very lucrative. You can usually charge a pretty nice hourly rate for this as well. So those are the big services that I would suggest. This is where you can actually earn money as a freelancer doing SEO. So how much money can you actually make? Again, as I said before, it really does depend on 3 factors. So as I said, all of these services come at a different price point. Writing content, that's probably the lowest cost one. You can charge quite a bit for that. And then obviously doing content strategy and consultation, that's going to earn you a lot more. So it depends on what services you are choosing and what you want to offer. And then it also depends on how you market yourself. So a lot of my students who come to me for mentorship and training, they don't market themselves at all. And we fix that. That's like the number one thing I work on with people. But if you market yourself as an SEO expert, if you put a lot of time into marketing yourself, you stand to earn more because people see you as an expert. They see you as one of the people who's really up there in the industry. Obviously, that increases your value. And then the last thing you need to ask is, how quickly can you perform SEO work? A lot of what I did over the last 10 years was learning how to do keyword research and content strategy and write articles faster. Obviously, the faster you work, the better your hourly rate is, even if you don't charge hourly, which I do not recommend charging hourly, because the faster you get, the more you stiff yourself. But obviously, if you're able to perform something faster, time is money, gives you more free time. So learning how to do these kinds of things faster, which comes with practice, and there's certain tools you can use, some of which I offer to my students. It certainly will earn you more. Or to me, working less is actually more valuable than earning money. I'd rather just not be at my desk working all the time. So again, speed of deliverables is a big factor. So these are the 3 things that are going to determine how much money you could make as an SEO freelancer. If you want to earn premium rates as an SEO freelancer, then you have to offer a premium service. This is kind of one of the mantras I share with my students. So you'll know there are a lot of freelancers out there. Just go into Fiverr and type in SEO into Fiverr, and you will see there's people offering all of these services for like $5, $10 an hour, which is like below minimum wage. Not cool with me. I like to think of it as flying on an airplane, right? I had that opportunity to fly in business class for the first time a few months ago. And I noticed that ultimately, if you're on a flight, right, what all of the people on the plane are paying for the same basic service. They want to get from point A to point B. That is what they're paying for. But why do people in first class pay so much more for what is fundamentally the same service? It's because they get free food and champagne and hot towels and free headphones and all of that stuff. It's not, those things that they get are not worth the extra $1,000 or $2,000 that they're paying, but the experience that comes with it, the ease of it, the comfort of it, that's actually what they're paying for. And so you can apply that to SEO as well. If you actually want to charge these really high rates and not charge the rates that people have on Fiverr, you have to be able to offer a premium service yourself. So what does that mean? It really comes down to 2 things. It's the way that clients perceive you. So when I say business class or first class, you have an instant idea of like what kind of luxury we're talking about. You need to have that associated with your name and your services as well. And then the deliverables that you hand over at the end, that's what the clients care about. They don't care about your method. They don't really care about why you do what you do. They just want to see the deliverables and the results from what you do. So you have to make sure that the deliverables you're giving are worth that high quality experience that people will pay extra money for. This comes down to kind of three things that I tie everything back to confidence, especially when I'm doing my mentorship. A lot of the roadblock that people hit when they're trying to earn more as an SEO freelancer usually has to do with confidence. So people will say things to me like, I don't think I can charge that much because I don't think I'm actually an expert, when actually they know as much about SEO, if not more than I do sometimes. And that's really about the fact that they haven't gone out there and advertised themselves as someone who's a total expert about SEO. And so they need to, you need to be showing yourself, you need to be building a perception with your audience that you are someone who is the best at what you do, or really good at what you do, maybe not the best. And that, you need to have the confidence to be able to step out there on stage and say, I know this stuff, I can help you. The next thing is SEO is complicated. There's no getting around that. There's especially for when you're working with clients who maybe don't know too much about SEO, or they're curious, you're going to get a lot of questions. And what I hear from my mentoring students a lot is that they're anxious about this. They're worried that a client's going to ask them a question that they don't know the answer to, and that's going to stump them, and they're going to look like an idiot. The answer there is that that is going to happen. It still happens to me. 15 years in, I will get a client who asks me a question that stumps me. The trick is to be able to confidently answer the most basic questions, the questions that you get over and over and over. You have to have an answer prepared for those. So when somebody asks you, how long until I see results on the first page, you need to have a practiced, confident answer that makes you seem like an expert. And when somebody stumps you, you need to be able to confidently say, I don't know, here's what I do know, and I'm going to find you the answer, and then go find them the answer immediately. That's going to help you appear more like a premium person. And then the last thing you need to do is build a portfolio of results. So you need to be able to show that you have done work before and that it's been successful. Obviously, this is the trickiest one for someone who's just starting out in this industry, who maybe hasn't had a client or has only had a few clients. I'm going to talk in a few minutes here about ways that you can start doing this. But think about building your own blog and trying to get things to rank for it, or maybe writing a blog for a website you admire and seeing if that will rank, or offering to do a low-cost audit for someone so you can practice and then use that as a testimonial. Having something to show someone that you've really been successful is going to help you, again, be able to charge those really, really high rates compared to those more low rates that are not going to be a sustainable living wage. So creating premium deliverables. So when I talk about deliverables, I'm talking about the things you hand over to the client and say, here's what you paid for, right? It's the thing that they've been waiting for. It's the thing that they set down a lot of money for. It can be a full-on content strategy. It can be a big list of keywords. It can be a SEO audit. But what I find is that the difference between people who charge a lot and people who don't charge very much is that their deliverables look good and feel good to the client. So this is another mantra that I give my students. Your only job as a freelancer, and this applies to a lot of different industries, but especially with SEO, is to make life easier for your client. They are paying you because they're anxious about SEO. Their boss told them that they need to get SEO on board, or they're worried that their website's not getting enough traffic. They're anxious about this, and they want you to come in and make them feel like it's going to be okay. We're going to solve this, and I'm going to make it easy for you. So that is where you always want to be coming into these client relationships with. You need to present yourself as the flight attendant who's going to bring over the hot towels and the big burger in the middle of the flight, or the free cocktail, whatever it is. You need to be that flight attendant who's there, ready to help, ready to solve these problems. This is another one, and this one always feels a little cheap to me, but it was kind of a hack that I discovered pretty early on. These deliverables that you give, they need to look good. They need to look really good. Now, I am not a graphic designer. My hands barely work. I can type and that's it. But I have an assistant who's a really good graphic designer, and she designs everything for me. So when I finish the work, I put together a kind of sloppy presentation and I'll pass it over to her. I pay her a little bit of money, or not a little bit, I try to pay equitably and practice what I preach. She makes a good wage. And she then gives me something that looks absolutely gorgeous with my client's branding on it and, no typos like this presentation, and just looks really, really smick. So that actually, believe it or not, that allows you to charge a lot more. Even if it's the exact same information presented in the exact, same way, if it just looks better than the other options out there, people are going to love it. People like shiny, pretty things. So put some design work into it, whether you're able to do that yourself on a site like Canva, and eventually maybe you can hire someone who's really, really talented at it like I do. This goes back to being that person who makes life easy. Big mistake I see a lot of freelancers make is that they just are not proactive with their clients. They wait for their clients to come to them and ask where things are, how things work, or what's going on. You need to be the kind of person who's never getting chased, that you are chasing your clients a lot of the time instead. Giving them updates, letting them know if a deadline needs to be pushed back a week before it needs to be pushed back rather than the day that it needs to be pushed back. Just be the person who your client doesn't have to worry about. Because if you're not, as I said, your only goal is to make life easier for your client. If you're missing deadlines, if you're communicating effectively, if you're not actively telling your clients what's going on, you are now not making their life easier, you're making their life harder, you're giving them more work to do, and they're going to fire you or just not see the value in what you're delivering, which is a big loss. Commit to honesty, even if things are not going as planned. So I don't want to trash my industry. I love SEO, but there are a lot of people out there who are scammers, who are liars, who do not, who will charge thousands and thousands of dollars and then not deliver anything of value. That's not who you want to be morally, or to be in a long-term career, because those people get found out and then they get fired and then they get a black mark on their name and they're never able to work again. So sometimes in SEO, things don't go as you want. An article that you were sure is going to rank doesn't rank. SEO doesn't clear up all of the problems. You need to be honest with them and let them know why, let them know what you're going to do to fix it, and don't lie. Don't try to act like something wasn't as bad as it was. Just come clean, and then come clean and say, this is why I don't think it worked. I'm going to fix it for you by doing X, Y, Z. And then say, you don't have to worry about it. I'll come back to you as soon as I'm done with this. I'll fix this for you. And then the last thing is, you need to make it easy for your clients to present their results as well. So for example, when I deliver an SEO audit, right, it's this really long slides of all these problems, goes into depth. And then I also deliver a one-page results page, and I brand it with their branding. And I say, this is what you should show the stakeholders. You can take this to a meeting and just walk through it. Or maybe I'll give them 4 slides instead of 15, right? Just give them something, because they're going to keep you. If they go to their boss and show their results that they're getting from the work that they've hired you to do, and usually, sometimes I am working with the CEO, but more often I'm working with the CMO or, marketing director. If you can give them something where they can walk into a boardroom and show the results that they're getting, and their boss says, wow, that's amazing, I'm going to give you a raise, guess what? They're going to renew your contract. They're going to recommend you to their friends. So you want to make sure that, whatever you deliver, it also comes with something that makes it easy for them to deliver it on to somebody else, unless they are the CEO, in which case just make it perfect. Okay, this is the other huge question that I get from people is, where am I going to find clients? How do I find clients? I keep finding clients who don't want to pay me. They want to pay, 1 cent per word, or they want to pay $500 for an SEO audit. How the heck do I find clients that actually will pay what I want to pay? Or I don't have a name. No one knows who I am. I'm not really on LinkedIn. How do I start getting people to find out who I am, and how do I, convince them to buy this expensive service? And you're asking people to put a lot of money down on the line. So how do you do that? So to me, there are 2 methods for getting clients when you're first starting out. One is what I call warm pitching, or I don't call it that. A lot of people do. I don't believe in cold pitching. I get so many cold SEO pitches every single day, and I block them as fast as I can possibly move my mouse. Warm pitching is a better method, and I'll get into what that means. And then the second one is showcasing yourself as an expert. So I'll show you what I mean by both of these things. Warm pitching. This is the method that I have used. So the first thing you do is you have to find people to pitch to. I recommend starting in your own tech stack or your own life, right? My longest running client, they're called Rounded. They're an accounting software for freelancers based in Australia. I highly recommend you use them if you're in Australia. I used to live in Australia. I used them. I loved them. And I noticed that they had crap SEO when we started many, many years ago. So I just reached out to them and I said, I love your business. I'm a huge fan. I'm a paying customer. You're not ranking for anything. Can I help you? And because I was a customer, because I was a member of their audience, they were far more likely to take me out of, and give me a shot rather than someone who's never heard of me. And that's what we talk about, warming up a lead, right? You can immediately start with a warm lead if you come in saying, I already love your business. I love your website. I love this, but I think you could do better. It sounds kind of weird to say it that way, but essentially what you're going to do. Next thing you need to do is do your research. You got to look into the business. What are they working on right now? What are their goals? Who are the people who are in charge of the marketing? Who's in charge of SEO right now? Is there anybody doing content right now? These are things you can find out on a company's website and LinkedIn, and you need to have this information in. So when you do cold pitching, and there are people out there who will recommend, they say it's a numbers game. You just send out 100 cold pitches a week, and maybe 15 of those will respond to you. Maybe 5 of them will get on a call. Maybe 2 of them will say yes. That's a lot of work, and I hate bugging people in their inbox. Instead, you need to do the research, and then step 3, start engaging with them in ways that are not salesy. So go onto their LinkedIn, set up an alert for whenever they're posting on LinkedIn, and be one of the first people to comment. If you read a blog on their website and you really like it, send them an email saying, I love this blog, it's really, really good. Don't say, by the way, can I sell you SEO? Just say, I love this. Find a way for them to learn what your name is before you come at them with a pitch. Because if they're in marketing, if they have a title like CMO or marketing director, I guarantee you they are getting so many pitches a day that are really badly done that you need to have personal elements in them. This is what a warm pitching is. And then lastly, you need to offer them something of genuine value that is specific to them and their website. And I'm going to show you an example now of what a pitch like this might look like. So let's just, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll sort of go through this paragraph by paragraph. So, hey, Michelle, or whoever. My name's Liam. I'm an SEO specialist. I'm a big fan of your brand blank for a while now. And you might have seen my name on a recent LinkedIn post about blank. Or you might say something like, you might have seen, I wrote you about this blog that I loved the other day. Or, I've been following you on Twitter and retweeting you like crazy. Just something to say, I'm not just one of these people who's copying and pasting or using a bot to pitch to you. I'm actually researching your business. I actually like your business. I actually like what you're doing. That's going to already set you apart from the hundreds of pitches they're getting every single day. Next, you can, let them know you've been poking around with your website. I always like to throw in, it is kind of awkward to say to someone like your website SEO is crap because it's kind of an insult to say to people. So I just like to play the nerd card and say, I'm an SEO nerd. And this is totally true. Whenever I'm on a website, I always look into the SEO because I can't stop myself. So just calling that out, sort of softening the blow there. Then you can sort of bring in I noticed that your competitor is outranking you for these 3 keywords, or I noticed that maybe, I tried to go to this page and it was broken and it wasn't great, or, just something to say, here's the problem. And I always like to take the competitor route because any business owner gets fired up when they're talking about competitors. So to me, that has been a very successful way to go, is to say your competitors are doing X, Y, Z and you're not. And then you come at them, after you present the problem, you come at them with a solution. I think you could probably outrank these people if you had a blog on this subject, and then tie that to results. If you were to do that, I reckon you could probably get another 3,000 visitors to your website per month, judging by the SEO, how many people are searching for that keyword each month. So now you've got them. You've said, hi, I know you personally. I like you personally. I noticed you have a problem, and I've come up with a solution, and I'm showing you the results you can get from that solution. And then finally, you say, here's what I want to do. I want to write a blog for you on this topic. I'm going to make it perfectly optimized. And I hope we can get on a call to discuss. I always like to get on the call because to me, that's much easier to pitch to someone than in an email where they can't, they can just archive you. So that's just an example, but this is how I got my first 5 clients. That is like, if you need clients tomorrow, I recommend doing this strategy. And you can probably do 1 warm pitch a day. Just try that for a while. The other, and this is a quick hot tip. So if you are going to do something like offer to write a blog or offer to do some keyword research or offer to do a little bit of a tech audit, make it something that you can use in case they don't want to pay you for it, or they don't like it, or they say no. You know, it is a really good strategy to come at someone and say, I've already written a blog about this. Do you want it? That's great. But what if they say no? You've wasted all that time writing a blog for nothing. And that's, I don't believe in that, in doing things for free. But this is a great way to build your portfolio at the same time. So they say no, okay, well, I'll just pop it into my portfolio. And now next time I pitch to somebody, I can say, hey, look at this blog in my portfolio that I've already written. Or write it, if you're targeting a certain industry, let's say you're going after, the dining industry. I don't know why that came to mind. I think I'm hungry. But, write something that could be applicable to multiple different websites so that if your first choice is no, you've got it to go for the second one. And if a bunch of people say no, you can at least put it in your portfolio or turn it into a LinkedIn article so that it has some value for you and you didn't just waste your time doing something that's not going to be used. Now, the other side of this, and this is a longer term strategy for finding clients, and it is the one that has worked the best for me, is just making yourself into a believable expert. So again, that comes back to maybe making a website for yourself, though I don't think, and I'm going to say this really clearly, do not put your SEO career on hold because your website's not live, and do not put your website on hold because it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. I am updating my website still, and you need to just keep going with it. But you will eventually, if you want to really appear as an expert, you need to have a body of work, at least something to back that up. Next is LinkedIn. Now listen, I used to hate the idea of LinkedIn. I thought it was the stuffiest, stupidest platform. Then one of my mentors changed my mind about that. Now I post on LinkedIn about 3 times a week, and I make these posts. And if you go onto my LinkedIn profile, or if you are in Tofu, you've probably seen some of them already. I don't really ask for much. Maybe more recently I do because I'm a bit more established now. But when I was really new to this, I didn't really ask for anything in return. I would just write an article, on LinkedIn or post on LinkedIn about here's how to do internal linking. Like, just this is what I would do. If you were going to do internal linking on your website, this is what I would recommend. And don't say, contact me if you want internal linking done on your website. Don't do any of that. Just put the information out there. Do that consistently, and people will start to see you as a person that they can go to and ask a question. And then you get a question in a DM, and you answer that question in a DM, and suddenly you have a relationship with someone who's looking for SEO services. It is a really good method. Other things you can do, leverage some existing communities. So as you all know, or as those of you in the Tofu channel know, I'm leveraging this community right now to, showcase what I do, who I am, why I'm an expert. And I get on podcasts. I'm in like 4 or 5 different Slack channels. I'm building my own email list as well. Just building up the areas where I can, show off a little bit about how much I know about this, how much I enjoy it, and what I've done for people in the past. Lastly, you can maybe build your own email list by creating some assets and giving them away for free. The very first thing I ever created was a SEO checklist. I managed to get like 200 people onto my mailing list just by offering that, promoting it on LinkedIn. Suddenly I have an audience of 200 people who are actually subscribed to my mailing list, listening to me talk about this. Much easier to start pitching to them. So if you want to start finding clients, these are the 2 methods I recommend. If you take these, the next thing that will happen is you'll start getting word of mouth recommendations, especially with LinkedIn. I find that's one of the best things is, people who aren't my clients on LinkedIn will often recommend me because they don't do SEO, but their clients need SEO. Maybe they're a web designer and they have a client who asked about SEO and the web designer said, I don't do that, but I know someone who does. That's really valuable, but that's only going to happen if people know who you are and what you do. So you have to find the platform that you are most comfortable on to talk about who you are, what you do, and why you're so damn good at it. I know it sounds cocky, and I know it sounds kind of like, like you're showing off, but you are, because otherwise you just don't tell. And my other big piece of advice, if you're new to freelancing, literally do not stop talking about it until people are annoyed with you. Tell your mom, tell your waitress, tell your ex-boyfriend, sister-in-law, I don't care. But like the more people you tell, the more people will know who you are, the more likely you are to get a referral. Okay, so talking about how much can you make as an SEO freelancer? What services can you offer? Where can you find clients? That's all well and good, but how do you actually start doing these things? If you want to start learning SEO or you want to start selling SEO as a service, I've got 2 suggestions for you. The first one, well, first let's go through this. So these are the questions you need to ask yourself as you're planning and strategizing your own SEO services. So first of all, what are you good at now? Are you a good writer? Are you a keyword nerd? Are you someone who understands websites? Maybe you're a web developer. In those cases, obviously, if you're a writer, start offering SEO, writing, add that as a service. If you are someone who understands websites really well, maybe you want to start with technical audits. If you love keywords and you like looking into that kind of thing, and maybe you have a PPC background as well, keyword research would make the most sense for you. The other question is, what do you actually enjoy doing? So the reason I don't offer backlinking services, as I said, is I don't enjoy doing it. I hate doing it, so I don't do it. You have to be able to enjoy it if this is going to be a sustainable career for you. So you need to think about what's actually enjoyable to me. Where do you want to upskill? So maybe you say, I think I would actually like doing content strategy, but I don't know how to do that yet. That's okay. If you think you want to add it as a service, start thinking about where you're going to upskill right now. And then lastly, what other niches and industries do you have access to? So for me, I was already a writer. That counts as a niche, believe it or not, even though it's not an industry. And so obviously for me, it was quite easy to offer SEO. That was my niche. But maybe you work in, I don't know, maybe you work in the SaaS industry, right? Start looking around thinking what services are going to be most valuable to the kinds of businesses that I really want to work with, and use that to design your package of services and your specific unique SEO services. Now, if you are someone who's an SEO freelancer, or who's just a freelancer or freelance writer, maybe you know a little bit about SEO, but you don't feel confident yet, I do want to recommend this course. It's completely free. It takes about an hour. It's hosted by me and my friends over at this great company called StoryChief, which is a writing platform. The link is right there at the bottom, or this will be. We'll post everything up there. But basically, you get to watch my handsome face for 1 hour as I talk through SEO and what the fundamentals are. So if you're kind of a newbie to SEO and you don't really understand SEO that well yet, or you want to get a little more confident, highly recommend this free course. If you're beyond that stage, you already do know SEO, maybe you've done a little bit with SEO, I have another recommendation, which is this program that I've launched. It is called SEO Bridge Builders, and it's literally designed specifically for people who know some about SEO. Maybe you don't need to be perfect and an expert, but you know some of the basics, and now you want to start making money off of it. It's a 6-week-long program, starts on November 28th, so in just 11 days. 7 days. 17 days, who would I say for? Anyway, basically 6 weeks, we go through 6 different lessons, which I'm going to get into. And then every week we have a group call where I talk through my strategies for turning each of these into a high ticket service. And then throughout the course, everyone who's involved gets 3 one-on-one mentorship calls with me where we focus on your specific questions, what you want to achieve as an SEO freelancer. And we build a strategy for you there. And there's also a Slack channel as well. So you can join the other students who've already taken the course and the students who you're taking a course with. And I hang out in that Slack channel all day, every day. So anytime you have an SEO question, or you want to look at a pitch that you're going to do, or you want me to read an article that you've written, you just have to DM me in the Slack channel. And that's a lifetime membership. So these are the courses. This is the course that I go through. As you can see, the first few weeks are dedicated to each of these services that I offer. But it's not just me teaching you how to do keyword research. That is part of it. I teach you how to do it faster so that you can earn more money. And I teach you how to sell it. So how do you price this? How do you package this? How do you find people who want this? How do you find, how much should you charge for this when you're starting out or when you're a little bit more advanced? That's the angle that we're coming at. So it's like hybrid. Yes, there is some technical SEO training in there. And then there's also this whole component of how much do you charge and all that. And then the final lesson, lesson 6, is strictly about packaging and selling SEO as a service, where I actually give you real quotes that I've written for clients, and we go through my super sneaky pricing strategies in order for you to be able to package and price your stuff at a premium rate, which I have not talked about on this call yet. And lastly, the last thing that people get when they join this course is they get a what I'm calling the Bridge Builders Kit, or the SEO Freelancers Kit. And this is basically all the stuff that I broke my back making over the last 10 years. And it's just a folder of documents that include real content strategies that I've sent to my clients, real tech audits that I've sent to my clients. And these are the stuff that I charge premium rates for. You also get roadmaps. Like I have a roadmap that specifically tells you, here's how to do a tech audit from start to finish. Here's how to update content and turn it around and turn that into a service. My pricing strategy guide. So all this stuff is in there, and you better believe my designer worked really hard on them, so they look pretty sexy too. Can I say that? Anyway, that's the course. Yes, sorry, that's a bit of a plug, but I'm just letting you know if you want help. This is a small course, so there's only 12 slots available, and 5 of them are already filled. So if you do want to get into that, you can DM me on Tofu. You can find me on LinkedIn, and or you can probably let Tyler know as well, and or just visit that link there, and we'll get you signed up. And I am offering a $50 discount to anybody who lets me know that they were in this call, if you want to sign up so that you can save a little bit of money. Okay, that's it, I think. So any questions anybody has about all of that, and please do feel free to connect with me on any of these methods here. If you join my mailing list, I send out free tips and advice, and I often give away some of my assets for free. And also, I am literally never stopping posting on Twitter and LinkedIn about this stuff, and that's obviously free as well. And I'm just a chatty guy, so feel free to DM me with questions or anything like that.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Liam. That was an amazing presentation. I really love the tips that you shared about sort of positioning and selling, like as a premium service. That's something that I always preach to people. It's like doing the work is only part of your job, right? It's so much is about how you position it, how you present it, how you tell the story of what kind of results you're driving, and that really is what I think differentiates a Fiverr SEO from a really a premium SEO service. So
Exactly.
loved that. Cool. Yeah, we definitely have some questions that have come in, so we're gonna jump on those now. For the folks who are on the stream here, please pop into the chat with additional questions for Liam, and we'll go through those. So let's see. So Andra had a question. Andra, I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Can you offer content strategy for just the blog part of the website, or would you be missing big opportunities?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Andra, great question. Yeah, sure. I call that content ideation, and it is kind of a sub-service I offer. So, the nice thing about SEO is I often find that it's best to kind of figure out what people want and then pitch to them. So that's why I try to get people on the call. So if I get somebody on the call, when I offer content strategy, I offer it a la carte. So I offer the full menu, and I break down the prices of everything on that. And then I allow the client, they might say to me, oh, we've already done audience research. We don't need to do audience research. And so I'll just knock that price off rather than saying, oh, then you don't want my content strategy at all. I'm happy to take a discount off, do less work, and offer that. So sometimes I do have clients say to me, I really just want a list of 10 blogs to write. Can you give that to me? And I do that. I do some of the keyword research, and I just give them a sort of a list of ideas or topic clusters, like you're saying. And I charge couple thousand for that sometimes. So would you be missing out on opportunities? Yeah, but if you don't want to do that, if you don't like doing audience research, if you don't like doing competitor analysis, life's about enjoying life. So don't do anything you don't want to enjoy. So if you prefer to just do topic clusters, there's money to be made there too.
Yeah, I love that. I love that response. I think that there's so much of this too that is just what do you want to do, right? Isn't that the beauty of being a freelancer entrepreneur, is that you get to craft how you spend your time.
Free time, right? It's not about free money. It's about freedom.
Yep. I had another question, which is, how do you suggest learning about how to actually fix or address some of the technical SEO issues? So she's saying lots of resources on identifying those issues, but how do you actually know how to fix them or how to address those?
So this depends on your background. So listen, I don't know how to code. I can do a lot with WordPress, but outside of WordPress, there's not much I can do. And I'm upfront about that. I tell my clients, I don't really fix a lot of these problems. I just help you find out what they are. And I still charge quite a bit of money for that. My strategy is, this is normally something I wouldn't say unless you were in my course, but I'll tell you what's worked for me is when I deliver an SEO audit, I do a stoplight system where green means I can fix this for you in no time. So that would be something like you need page titles for your 5 main service pages, right? It takes me 10 minutes to do that. I'm not going to freak out about it. Yellow means I can fix this, but it's going to cost you, right? So that might be something like redirecting URLs. That's something I know how to do. And so if they need to rewrite their URLs in a major way, I'll charge another amount for that. And red means you're going to need a developer, right? I'm not a web developer. I'm not a web designer. So this is something like when it comes down to JavaScript or code, I just say it's not my wheelhouse. So unfortunately, I can't answer this question in full because I just don't care about that stuff. I don't want to learn how to write code. I'm not interested in that at all. And so I just straight up don't offer it. And I'm upfront about that with clients. And I think this is where that honesty part comes in. If you say, oh yeah, I can probably fix that for you, and then you spend all night Googling how to fix something and trying and pulling your hair out, much better to just say, I don't really do that, but I know people who do. And this is the other thing, you can build a network of people, right? So I do have some really talented web developers in my network, and I'll team up with them a lot of the times and give them a cut, obviously pay them, and have them fix it for me and kind of white label that service to my clients as well. That being said, the major things that you need to learn. So first, I don't know how much, but you need to know how to do an SEO audit, obviously, and identify the problems. And then a lot of it is really down to, going through those and just finding the answer. If you find out that your client is struggling with SEO because they have a ton of JavaScript on their website, I hate to say this, but Google, how do I get JavaScript off of a page in this CMS? Look for the best thing, try it out. And eventually you'll know how to do those things. I don't know of any courses that specifically teach how to fix SEO from a more technical standpoint. I wish I did, because I would only hire people who had ever taken that course to design a website. So many developers who don't know how to do SEO. It's scary.
Yeah, if I can just chime in too from my experience, what we find is that when it comes to technical SEO, you generally run into the same issues commonly. And so what we have built is sort of like essentially like a resource library that we manage sort of internally. So we'll say, okay, hey, you've got to implement this like HT access rule to like fix this thing with your canonical, URLs or whatever, some like super nerdy thing that, first of all, we don't want to get involved in that because we don't want to like start digging into their like, website, like the technical side of their website. But what we do is we just find like a guide on that particular problem. And then when we have a client who has a question or they have we uncover that particular problem in an audit, then we can say like, okay, we can't fix this for you, but here's a guide to give to your developers or what, something to, again, make their life a little bit easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we've got just a few minutes left. I don't see any other questions right now in the chat, but if you do have additional questions for Liam, please pop those in now. We'll try to get to them before the end here. I did want to mention one thing. So Liam and I were actually just chatting before the live session today. I think we're going to do something a little bit unique. If you're on this call and you're a member of TOEFL, you may already be aware, but I recently launched a sort of a small private community called Middle of the Funnel. Middle of the Funnel is basically kind of focused on a lot of these similar things, right? So it's building and selling your services as a content and SEO person and running a business, right? So it's for entrepreneurs, freelancers, agency owners, etc. And a lot of the resources and stuff in there are based on my experience. But I think what we're going to do, Liam, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're going to offer some of the resources inside your paid training to members of Middle of the Funnel. And we're also going to have Liam inside Middle of the Funnel to do an additional Q&A to help folks. So if you're maybe interested in his course and training and you want to learn a little bit more about Liam and maybe get a little preview of some of the resources, check out Middle of the Funnel and it'll be a good way to connect directly with him. You can find out more about Middle of the Funnel at bit.ly/joinmofu. And like I said, I think we're gonna let the community decide which of the resources that Liam has put together that we'll share there. So I'm super excited about that.
Cool.
Awesome. Any last questions in the chat? Please pop them in. Otherwise, Liam, thank you again so much for sharing this with us today. Really had a great time.
My pleasure. I had a great time too. And again, feel free to hit me up on any social media or Slack. I'm always around down to nerd out about SEO.
Awesome. And here's one more time. Let me add this back in here. Yeah, if you want to get a hold of Liam, here's all the ways that you can find him. And yeah, he's a member of Top of the Funnel, so you can find him there, wherever you're at.
All right.
Great. All right. Well, I will. Oh, let me just check really quick. Oh, just people saying thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Great. Okay, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks again, Liam, for your time, and we'll call it a day here. Everyone, have a great rest of your day, and talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.